Our main character, named David, is a brother striving to become a member of parliament. As the election day approaches, newspapers publish a story about him getting into a fight at a bar. Due to this news, people form the opinion that he is not mature enough and he loses votes. On the day of the election, David loses and prepares a speech. During this time, he goes to the restroom. In the restroom, he encounters a woman holding a bottle of wine. David asks why she's hiding in the men's restroom, and she explains that she wasn't invited to the wedding upstairs, so she hid in here, thinking it's the best place to hide. Less than a minute later, they become intimate. I swear, some people are faster than light. Later, his buddy enters the restroom, and the woman leaves the scene. Dude, why are you staring blankly? Take her name and number. I lost my mind here. Anyway, he says he will participate in the elections again. A few days later, some unknown guys with hats order one another that no matter what happens the next morning, David should spill his coffee and not take the bus. The man in the hat fell asleep in the park while waiting for David to arrive, and David gets on the bus without any problems. While searching for a seat on the bus, David coincidentally sees the woman he encountered in the restroom and sits next to her. At that moment, the guy who fell asleep runs after the bus. Although he could predict everything, somehow he couldn't see the taxi that hit him. After having a pleasant conversation with the woman, David gets her number and gets off the bus. Once he arrives at the office, he opens the door to his room, and guess what? The guys with hats are scanning all his friends with X-rays. Surprised by the situation, David asks what they're doing, and the guys tell the others to catch him, starting a chase. After catching him, they knock him unconscious. They discuss whether to reformate him or watch him forever. Just as he regains consciousness, David tries to escape, but the guys use their special powers to lift the pavement and make him fall.
We can read everyone's minds and adjust their fate according to the book. Normally, we were going to spill coffee on you, making you 10 minutes late with your clothes dirty, and you wouldn't be able to meet that woman. But this idiot fell asleep, so we were late.
Also, we made a few adjustments to your friend that we scanned with the X-ray. Now we're letting you go, but you won't meet that woman again, and we're burning the number you got.
You haven't seen or heard us, and you don't know us. If you ever recognize us, we'll reset you to factory settings, they say, and let him go.
After several days, our brother David, sitting at the cafe, persistently tries to call our sister, Elise. While he tries various number combinations he remembers, our silly uncle shows up and says,
You won't find it no matter how hard you try. Even if you do, we'll block you. This place is too crowded. Come to the ferry and ask whatever you want there.
And they go to the ferry. He starts explaining,
The reason I brought you to the ferry is that we can't read people's thoughts in places surrounded by water. That's why I wanted to chat here. We monitor the whole world, but we don't have that many employees. We try to progress everything in accordance with fate. You won't be able to reach your girl because she is very important according to this fate. Even if you find her, we'll put obstacles in your way. So let it go, my dear nephew. We try to progress everything in accordance with fate. You won't be able to reach your girl because she is very important according to this fate. Even if you find her, we'll put obstacles in your way. So let it go, my dear nephew.
3 years pass. David, our brother, takes the same bus every day for 3 years. What determination is this? What an obsession. Didn't anyone capture his heart? Didn't he get fed up? Thankfully, one day while on the bus, he sees Elise walking and gets off the bus joyfully. He stands in front of her and says,
I took the same bus every day just to meet you. I called 737,000 times for a woman named Elise, but none of them were you. I moved mountains for you. I moved mountains for you, but still couldn't find you. Elise here responds,
I give you my number. Why didn't you call? What if this time I don't like you?
Come on, Elise, he says. I took the same bus for 3 whole years. He says I called the wrong number thousands of times. Have some mercy. And Elise is also making a face, saying you won't call me again.
David says, They stole my wallet, damn it. That's why I lost your number.
What a nice lie, buddy. Afterward, they ask each other if they are single. Both of them are single. If they weren't single, the movie would have ended already. At that moment, they panic when they see our guys with hats coming together and start watching them again. Elise says she's a dancer, and David looks at her.
What? Are you a pervert? I do ballet, in fact. Come and watch me perform.
She invites him to the show. After walking, they sit at a cafe. Our guys with hats also sit at the back table to watch them. According to their knowledge, if David and Elise kiss, there won't be any chances to separate them again. So, to prevent them from kissing, they urgently call David's buddy to the cafe. Why not just knock him out and take him away? When his buddy arrives, they tell him, You need to come urgently. People are waiting for your speech. David realizes that he's being manipulated by the guys with hats once again, but he tells his girlfriend that he won't go. His girlfriend convinces him to go, and they were about to kiss when the guys with hats use their special power to send a message to David's buddy's phone and prevent them from kissing. Instead, Elise kisses David on the cheek. David goes to the speech venue and delivers his speech. Meanwhile, our guys with hats change the location of the rehearsal to prevent their meeting. After the speech is over, David rushes to the rehearsal, but they cannot stop the meeting. They have the ability to teleport from one place to another, so it's puzzling why they sometimes get delayed. Unaware of the reason for trying to prevent their meeting, the guys with hats call a senior hat guy and explain the situation. He tells them that they were supposed to be together in the past, but due to changes in the plan, they are not supposed to be together anymore. That's why they are insistent on finding each other. The next day, as David leaves his home, an unknown guy with a hat opens the door. The door opens to a completely different place, and David finds himself in an unfamiliar location. After waiting for a while, a high-ranking guy with a hat arrives, and the following conversation takes place.
David, what happened to free will? Why can't I be with the one I love? That guy. You were a hunter, and we helped you establish an empire. But you shattered that empire. We gave you the Renaissance, the Age of Enlightenment. You massacred your own kind and started wars. You were on the verge of destroying the world. Before you made an irreversible mistake, we intervened. Now you no longer have free will. David, what does this have to do with Elise? That guy. Because you needed inspiration for your speech. You will become the president thanks to Elise. If we didn't send her away, you couldn't become the president. Now you don't need her anymore. David, but I love her. That guy? Fine, then go to the show. He leaves. After attending the show, the hat guy comes back and says, you will become the president and she will become the most famous dancer. If you continue to meet, you won't become the president and she will lose her leg. The choice is yours. He then twists Ace's leg.
David accepts the situation, and after completing the hospital checkups, he tells Elise, you'll become an amazing dancer. They hug, and he leaves the hospital without looking back. 11 months pass. David is leading in the elections. Meanwhile, he sees in the newspaper that Elise is getting married. Oh, poor brother. Overwhelmed with sadness, he goes to a bar. The waiter says, your friend left a note with an address, and David goes to the address written on the note. There, he meets our silly uncle who says, I'll help you reach your girl. He teaches David how to use the door to go to different places and gives him his hat. It turns out that the whole thing was related to the hat. The next morning is rainy. David makes final preparations and runs from one door to another, using the techniques he learned from the hat to reach Elise. It's incredible how things work sometimes. After reaching Elise, who is furious about their breakup, David apologizes and exposes the guys with hats. The guys with hats go crazy after hearing the news and start searching with their format team. Knowing they are after them, David takes Elise's hand and keeps running from one door to another. At one point, everything becomes too much for Elise. David tells her,
if you're with me, come with me. If not, stay here.
Elise chooses to follow him. This time, she opens the door to reach the office of the top-level guys with hats. After a chase, they get cornered and get sucked into a vacuum. The top-level guy with a hat says, I told you not to do it, but you did. We were going to format you. Then, our silly uncle shows up and says the plans have changed and there's no need to format anymore. It's a happy ending.
If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.